welcome again to Tuesday Tips. By the time you see this, Thanksgiving will have wrapped up. And so we're going to be talking about Christmas today, some of our Christmas projects and other projects we've been working on. So let's start with, today we have Shannon and VJ and myself, Sandy. So Shannon, let's go with yours first.
Okay, well, my first one is not Christmas related.
That's great.
This, I started a quilt for
Next year.
Yeah, no, it's not for next year. It's for the store.
Oh.
And because, you know, I talked how much we love Jill Howarth.
Yeah, we love Jill Howarth's
So
designs.
I started with Little Briar Rose, and I have to say, okay, a little story about this. I bought stuff for a quilt. I put it on my design board. I hated it. I took a picture. I actually sent it to VJ, and I said, this is not working for me. So we texted back and forth, and then we brainstormed a little bit, and VJ suggested a couple different patterns, and I ended up using the Craftsman pattern by Amy Smart. She's Diary of a Quilter, and I've made this before. Luckily, I had the pattern.
Yeah,
I already had the pattern, so it was not a problem. But so then I cut this, and then some of it was directional, and so the way she had it written, you couldn't cut it that way, so then I had to come back and get a little piece of some of the, and it was just, I'm like, am I really meant to make this quilt? Is this really in the cards for me? So it was one of those things, and I cannot, like, I know Sandy can, you know, sew into the night, and I can't do that. It's like if I start to get tired or frustrated, I gotta back off.
Yeah, well, if I get frustrated,
start over.
I'm like, walk away.
Right. So I was hoping I would have this all together. Maybe I'm hoping by the time that we actually post this, that it will be done. Because it's really not a hard one to sew together. And another thing I'm a little crazy about is I had to lay the whole thing out. Like, she just has you kind of guess, but I have to lay it out. Otherwise it drives me crazy. So I have one row done.
And I love this fabric.
It's such cute fabric.
And like this big one here, this big focus print, it is such a good pattern.
Yes.
For showing those
fun
focus
prints.
Yes, those bold.
Right.
Yeah.
And like, I just love these little fairies.
Oh, the fairies are my favorite print in the collection.
Love the fairies. So, and like, here's the pink version of the fairies. And so it's just really sweet. So, and it's interesting to me too, because I've made several of her patterns, and she'll say the throw size, but I feel like the throw size is actually really quite large.
It's a good size quilt.
So so I mean, this is the length of it, and it's got a border. We haven't picked out the border fabric yet, because I can't commit until I see sometimes. And I'm not a good visualizer. I have to look, and I depend on my co-workers, my co-working friends to help me out, because I just
Don't we all?
Yes, it's good.
I like
Just
feedback.
Brainstorm, yes.
Yeah.
I just like someone to confirm
Yes.
that what I'm thinking.
Because
Right.
I always doubt myself
I do
until,
too.
until it's all together,
Yep.
but the binding is on.
But I need someone else to say, good job, Sandy.
Yeah. And that's why I was texting VJ, because I figured VJ would probably respond to me the quickest, and I value her opinion, because she can visualize better than I can.
Yeah.
And I'm way too honest sometimes. And
No.
But if I didn't want her,
VJ's gonna give us her
right.
true opinion, and we value what. Yeah.
And if I didn't
can be a
want the
fault,
honesty,
let me
I
tell
wouldn't
you.
text you, because I knew you would be. But so I cut out all these others. So I think I'll be making some like smaller baby quilts.
With all your other fabrics.
With all my other fabric. So we'll see what because she had some ideas on how to fix it.
Yeah.
But I do not have confidence in being a pattern writer. So I did not. I told VJ, I said, I don't think I can put that together for somebody else.
Yeah.
So I think we'll see. Tune in another time to see if I bring in what I'm doing.
You
So,
need that pressure.
yes. So I actually just dropped these. So this one is a Christmas one.
Oh, I remember this quilt.
So this is
was
old.
fun.
Yes.
Well,
and
yeah, this was 2 or 3 years ago. 2 years ago.
Because no, it was more than that. Because Nicole was working here at the time. My youngest daughter was working at the store, and she loved this. And so I bought it. I didn't tell her I bought it, but I thought, one day when she gets married, I'll do it. But my girls don't really have a lot of interest in that at the moment. So I'm just going to get making these quilts. Why wait?
Yep.
So
I loved.
yes. So
this
I'm wondering, because this is something that you designed.
I did.
And so I'm wondering, did you design it because the panels came in and you were like, what are we going to do with this?
Yeah, I did.
So yeah.
Because I was like, and they were I think they were supposed to be like a book or something.
Oh.
But I was like, I want
Yeah.
They're such cute.
It's really,
Yeah.
really cute. Really,
is.
really cute.
And I
So-
wish this fabric was currently available. But it is not.
Well, and I haven't ever seen anything like it again.
But I think there are some Grinch things out there. But so these pieces, blocks here, are what I based all the measurements and everything on.
Yeah.
Was because I wanted to focus on those cute Grinch blocks, and then we just put some of their other fabrics in it. But it's a fun pattern.
Well, and
It
even this
turned out
polka
fun.
dot is just a little different. So it's a little Dr. Seussy, and
Yeah.
I think that's it helps make it. So and I had bought, because you had backed yours with kind of a forest green minky, and we know how much I love the minky. But I bought the minky. So, and just a kind of a little funny story about the minky. So I take a lot of my quilts to Karen, who used to work here, and I think she quilted it for you because she had a Grinch pattern to do the quilting, and Karen used to work in the store, so she knows I don't like minky. So if I send her a quilt that has minky, she trims it for me.
Yeah,
It
so that
always
you don't
comes
have
back
to touch
trimmed
it
because she
after.
knows I don't like the feeling. So like I said, these ladies at the store love me, and I just appreciate that. So the last thing I wanted to say, and it's not really a finish or anything, but if you were here the last time I was on, when we talked about cross stitch, we had that piece. In fact, I brought it. This piece that my dad made.
Oh yeah,
And we were trying to decide who made it, and Sandy said
I thought it was Shepherd's
Shepherd's
Bush.
Bush. And my sister-in-law, it's her pattern. She lives in Texas, and she happened to text me just to kind of check in, see how family was doing. And so I asked her about the pattern, and told her that Erica, my one daughter, was interested in making it. And she's like, "Oh, I'll just mail it to you." So she sent it to me, and she said to me, she's like, and there it is. She says, "Oh, it's a Vanessa Ann pattern, who later became Shepherd's Bush." So there you go,
So that's
Sandy.
Awesome. I did recognize just the style of these little.
It was
shepherdess
yeah.
kind of
and
girls.
but I could remember.
That's
I'm
fun.
like, when I had the pattern, I'm like, I think I would have remembered it being
Yeah.
Shepherd's Bush, but no, it was Vanessa Ann, and she, I
Yeah.
didn't know that
Later
later
was
she
under
was
Shepherd's
Shepherd's
Bush.
Bush. So
Okay.
anyway, so I just had to bring this and say, way to go, Sandy. You know you're cross stitch.
Well, some.
Yeah, you know what you're doing. So anyway,
Awesome.
that's it. That's
Good
what
job.
I've got going on.
Good job. You've got a lot going.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to talk about VJs, and I'm going to actually, I'll start first on my
Okay,
project,
that's
just because then we can get mine out of the way. So this one is not a recent finish, but this is one of my favorite cross stitch that I've ever done.
Is it? I
A
didn't-
Holy Night Snapshot.
Oh yes, it's very cute.
So the year that I designed the snapshots, I couldn't decide between, I designed two of them. I did a Christmas one that's real
right.
Sandy,
And I
And
was
then-
working here the year
Yeah.
you designed those. I remember you going back and forth.
and then I did this one, which was the Nativity, and I just decided to release them both.
Yeah.
And then people, if they wanted the more Santa Claus, they could do that. If they wanted a more religious theme, they could do this one. But this one has been,
It's a lovely pattern.
and it's
I
been
love
very
it.
popular in the store. So
Mhm.
that I just wanted to share with you. A recent finish is our December topography kit that we just finished. So kits have been mailed to everyone, so they should have them. And patterns are available on the website for those that aren't in the club. Because the club kits are sold out, but the pattern is available. So that is a recent finish.
It's really
It's very
cute.
Christmassy, very
Yeah.
red, and
Right.
so. And then I came up with a little use of our pom-pom balls,
Mm-hmm.
but I added these die-cut wool felt holly leaves in between,
Really
So
cute.
cute.
just to kind of,
So cute.
space them out and just give it a different look.
It's fun.
I think
Very fun.
Emerald has posted about the one I did that has snowflakes between.
Mm-hmm. I saw that. Really cute.
So this was a little different one, and we'll have kits in the store for that as well. So just a fun little, easy, quick project. Get it done, hang it on your mantle or
That'd be fun
whatever.
for even children to put that together.
Yep, and
Yeah.
they definitely could. So
So that'd be
Yeah.
really fun.
yeah, that's a fun one. So then, and then one more project. So I did, and this one, it's not bound right now. It will be bound by the time this airs. But so this is a little Christmas Advent, and it's not finished quilting. So if Emerald zooms in too much, you know. I haven't finished it. But each house there's a little pocket. And then the Christmas trees that are off to the side, they are a pocket as well.
So cute.
So you could put a little treat in, you could put a little tag that they pull out that has an activity or a thought for each day in December. So there's 25 blocks. There's 20 houses and 5 Christmas trees. And we have kits in the store for that. So
It's
this
really
was,
cute.
so I was working on designing Christmas mystery because I was going to do a Christmas mystery. And it has been such a mystery to me.
It's not coming to you.
And it's just not coming to me. But I woke up the other morning at 4 o'clock in the morning. Couldn't get back to sleep. But this came in my head that morning. And so I got up at 4:30 and started like sewing what I thought the blocks would come together as, and did some testing. And so I don't have a Christmas mystery. And I said I would, but I don't.
But we have a lot of
But I
other
think this is a
projects.
really nice substitution.
You
And
know,
people are, I mean, you could have made this kind of a mystery, but I think
Yeah,
people want it now.
And I could have made
so-
it, and we talked about that, doing this as a mystery, because as I had them constructing the blocks, the fun way you do these pieces here, they wouldn't know what they're making, you know.
Mhm.
But I thought people are going to want it for December.
Right, they're going to want to use
And
it.
so I didn't want to drag it out when they could have it hung up for
Was
December.
it quick to make?
It's quick to make once, it takes me a long time when I'm designing, and because I'm
To put it all together.
Trying to figure it out.
Yeah, trying to figure it out. So it
Mhm.
took a while because of that, but it is easy piecing, and no, it's not a time consuming project. So it finishes just 20 by 20, just a fun little advent,
Right.
little pockets. Put
Not a
candy
lot
cane.
of triangles to match.
No, there's a little bit of triangles, but super easy way I do the rooftops, and so
It's cute, really
It is
cute.
very
So-
sweet.
that's my projects for this week.
And we
And we'll get this off and show VJ's accomplishment here.
Ah.
This is so stunning.
It is amazing.
Okay, so this quilt, VJ, what's this called?
It's called Monterey Medallion.
And it is just incredible. And the quilting on it is just amazing.
Yes.
So tell us about this quilt, VJ.
Well, for some reason, I really like hard projects.
Yeah.
I am weird. My very first quilt that I ever made was a dressin, and I just think I'm nuts about doing really challenging. This one was challenging in the sense that, since I'm borderline OCD, just putting the colors together and making sure it really looked good and balanced and everything was hard, and deciding. I even took the center fabrics over to my daughters and said, okay, do you think this will look good for the center? But anyway, I think just choosing the fabrics was a little bit challenging for me, but the sewing on it was easy. I mean, really not that hard at all.
It's a lot of pieces.
It is a whole lot of pieces. And so what I did when I made this quilt is I chose my center fabric first, and then and cut those and just made that. And then I went ahead and did this next area and cut all that and sewed that all together. And then I went ahead and just cut everything else for the rest of the quilt.
It's so pretty.
But it really was not a hard quilt to sew. And I was just really surprised at how beautiful it turned out to
It's
be.
really,
It
really
really
pretty.
is. It's
So,
breathtaking.
we do have kits for that.
And so
here
then
in
they
the
don't have to
store.
do all the stress of picking out all the
Yes.
greens and all the reds and the creams. and-
Right, right. So we've got everything together. One thing I was hesitant about doing was, this darker color right here,
Oh,
which really,
This piece.
you think, okay, there should all be lights, but it's kind of nice and fun to do something just a little bit different.
Yeah.
Because it just really makes
and just
everything
looking at
pop.
this, I was just, you've got the start, but then you've got these others that have a little color in them, and I just,
Yeah.
like this is a little color, and
Red.
it just
Right.
goes really, really well together. And you're really good at that, which is why I send you pictures on Sunday that say, I don't like this.
So this is not necessarily a Christmas quilt
No, not at all.
because it's, it does have red and green, but it's not
Right.
It's not a Christmas.
Right. I
Well,
don't
it's-
think it really reads
No.
total Christmas at all.
Yeah.
So,
I think you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
right.
Oh, it's so pretty.
Which the nice thing is that, I mean, it is time consuming. So you get it now, you start working on it, and you don't have to sit and try to get it all done.
right.
You've got a whole year to complete it.
Yeah,
So.
it's
Right.
really beautiful.
Mhm.
What size does it finish? Do you remember?
It's a big quilt. It's 72 by 90.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's a twin size.
Yeah.
So
It's really pretty.
yeah.
So, and the pattern for this is Monterey Medallion, and it's by Atkinson Designs,
Yes.
and it's in a book.
Mhm.
And our kits include that book.
Yes.
We also sell the book separately, right?
Yes, we do. We have
We
the
do.
book as well,
Mhm.
and we have a limited number of kits.
Right.
And can I,
So-
if you're local, if you live here, I would say come in and see this hanging, because I saw it when BJ brought it in. It was beautiful, and then they got it hung up, and it was
It's
just
like,
like,
oh, yeah,
wow, that is amazing.
I think for VJ too. When we hung
Oh,
it, we're like,
yes.
oh,
Yeah, it was really, just really,
Yes.
really striking, you
Yes,
know. And we have it, with, you know,
exactly.
kind of as you walk in that main door, and just to see that,
yeah, it's really
it's
pretty.
really, really beautiful.
It is.
Okay, so those are our kind of finishes and
Yes.
projects that we wanted to talk about.
Uh-huh.
All right, Emerald, questions.
I got questions for you, ladies. So because it's almost Christmas, and then I guess a lot of people come into our shop, they make their own gifts for other people. And then, do you guys do that too, or like, do you guys have some Christmas project?
I will sometimes make it. I'm kind of funny about it because I think that a lot of people don't understand the time and effort that goes into things. And
Yeah.
I've given gifts before that have taken me a lot of time, and you know, seeing things laying on the floor or not, you know, taking care of it. And it just, for me, it's kind of heartbreaking. I have a hard time. So I get attached to projects. You know, I think I've talked about that before. And so if somebody's not going to take care of a project that I do, I don't want to give it up. So, but I will from my family. My kids are appreciative because they know. You know, my
Yeah.
mother is very, very appreciative because she doesn't like to sew. So I made her a simple. We had the kit like a couple months ago. It was a really simple Christmas quilt, and I just made it for her and gave it to her for her birthday, which was in September, and she just loved it. Was just so touched, and it wasn't even a difficult pattern. So I'm okay to do that, but I'm not. I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm not. I'm a little more stingy, I guess.
I guess you just have to pick who you make.
I have
Yeah.
to decide.
Yeah.
I have to decide.
Yeah. VJ.
Well, I used to make a lot of gifts, but one of my favorite things that I ever did was when my grandchildren were all, 6, 7, 8 years old, that age bracket, I made them all aprons and gave them, and they were all granddaughters. So I'd make them all aprons and then give them a cookbook. And as I was telling the ladies earlier, I don't know that the parents were as appreciative of the cookbook. So
It was
anyway.
bonding time. though.
It was for them, I'm sure. But a lot of my grandchildren really love to cook though too.
Yeah.
And I really think now that my grandchildren are in their late teens and early 20s, and some of them on their own, that I need to do the same thing all over again,
Yeah.
because those
True.
aprons from when they were 7 or 8 just don't fit.
Yeah, don't quite fit.
So
And if you do this, a friend of mine at one time, she did. I don't even know. I don't ever use them, but those places you can go and you can send their pictures and then
Oh,
they
yeah.
make them into a book. She did like family favorite recipes and put pictures of her kids and stuff in the book with the recipes,
cute.
and it was gave it as a gift, and it was
Yeah.
so cute. And I keep
fun.
thinking, oh, one day I should do that.
My sister one year for our sister's gifts, Natalie made us all, we got our recipe box, this cute aqua tin recipe box, and then she had put in it like all of our family favorite recipes, and some of them she took and actually copied onto cardstock so that we'd have my grandmother's handwriting,
Oh,
those actual
nice.
old
Yeah.
recipes, or my mom's handwriting, and that
And were
was
they
fun.
in cursive?
Yes, oh yes,
Because
cursive.
all my grandmother's
Yeah.
recipes are cursive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, my grandmother and my mom's are all cursive.
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
Probably one of the favorite things I've ever made. I grew up, my mom, 11 kids. She made a lot of our
Right,
gifts,
right.
and that was part of the fun of Christmas. And I remember the first year that I got to be the helper. and help make the gifts for my sisters, and I just loved it. I loved being part of that with my mom, and so I've always made a lot of Christmas gifts. But probably one of my favorite things I've made was one year I surprised my husband with a quilt that had I'd had pictures printed on fabric.
Oh yeah.
All of his hunting pictures, just different,
Oh.
and of him with his dog, and just different fun pictures that he would love, and they were part of the blocks. And and I made one for him, and I made one for my father-in-law,
Oh.
and they just loved them. It was such a fun surprise because
Right.
they didn't know I was doing
Right.
it.
Well, and I have to say, I have seen Sandy, like she was doing a quilt for somebody, and she was just making it up, and she was just stripping it and just putting it together. And I'm like, okay, she wasn't measuring, and I was like, I could not do that. So I'm sure they were beautiful because
One
you
of
can
the
do that.
first quilts I made. So I made a little half square triangle quilt, and I'd used muslin and cheap fabrics, and I think about it now, but that was the first quilt I made. Then the next quilt I made was I did one just kind of random, like for my mom. I embroidered blocks that had songs, like one said "You Are My Sunshine," and then I'd made a sunshine
Cute.
block, and then I'd done different sayings she said or songs she sung to us, and I made a quilt for her, and I just kind of winged it. I just would make a block and then make other blocks to make it all fit. And that was a fun.
I'm not a
fun
wing it
project.
type of gal.
No, I
But
don't do
I
that.
was amazed watching her. It was one of our employee sew days, and she was just up there, and she just kind of laid a few things out, and she's like, "Oh, I think it needs this," and she could do it.
Well, and sometimes they work out, and sometimes they don't.
But as you were talking about the "You Are My Sunshine" block and stuff, I have stuff that I have done for my kids that I haven't given them yet, because I keep thinking every year I want to do just homemade Christmas, and that's all I do is give them things that I've made. But I haven't done it yet, because I think it's something I'm going to have to start in January,
Right.
and really work on something.
Well, my mom starts like Christmas is over,
And
and my mom is sewing
For the next year.
for the next year. She sews all year long. She sews or hand stitches or something for projects for us, and for my sisters and all the women in our family. It's the highlight of Christmas.
Well, now
What did mom
married.
or grandma make?
Yeah,
for everybody,
She's got a lot more than 11 to sew for.
Yeah, because there's the kids and the nieces and the nephews and the great grandchildren.
And I love
So,
Sandy's mom. She comes
she's
into the
sweet.
store, and
She's the
just,
sweetest lady.
I don't even know her name. I just call her Mom.
Yeah.
When I see her, I just say, "Hey, Mom." She always answers.
I need to have her bring her projects that she makes for everyone.
You
And
should.
we'll film Table Talk the week before Christmas.
Yeah.
Before she's wrapped them all up, and we'll just share kind of what she does for
fun.
people.
Yeah.
That'd be
And
fun.
Sandy's
Good
mom is
idea.
just fun
She's
and
fun.
cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
I
would
guess
be
that
really
kind of just bridged to my last question, like how long does it take? Because for your mom, it probably takes the whole year.
It takes all year.
And she's in the store all year long picking out stuff because she's doing somebody's Christmas. And I'll say to her, "Oh, what are you doing that for?" "Oh, that's for Christmas."
And
That's
she
always
a lot
the
of times she
response.
doesn't
That's
know
for
who
Christmas.
she's. I don't know who this one
Yeah.
will be for, but
It works out. in
she
the end.
always makes stockings.
Yeah.
Everybody has a set of stockings my mom has made
I've seen her stockings.
for
They're
them.
so cute.
So that's fun. It's fun.
And something else that I've done for Christmas with my grandchildren, until just recently, I made them PJs every year for
Oh, yeah.
Christmas.
Yeah.
And I mean, just according to what they, their favorite color, that kind of thing. And then what I did, it's been about a year or so ago, I made one of my granddaughters a quilt using the scraps from all of her PJ fabric.
Oh, from over the years.
From over the
Cute.
years, because I've saved all those scraps, and it was just a simple
Yeah.
patchwork. I can't remember, maybe finished 4 or 5 inch squares, something like that. But I mean, she's 12 now, but her mom says she goes to bed every night and has to have that blanket,
Oh, I love it.
which is just so sweet. And
Yeah.
Really
and
sweet.
it just was a gift from scraps. So
Yeah.
So do you make like the tops, or do you just do the bottoms?
no, I did all tops and bottoms.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow,
yeah,
that's a
I'm,
lot of work.
I'm a make the pajama bottoms kind of girl.
Yeah, me too.
And buy a t-shirt.
I'm a
'cause
glutton for punishment.
Yeah,
Yes,
well,
you are.
someone was in the store, when I was in the back of the store the other day, they were looking at one of the dresses you made. They didn't know that I was listening, but I heard them say, the one lady was like really looking at it. She was just inspecting it. She says, whoever is their dressmaker is incredible. I'm like, that's BJ.
Yeah, we all know who that is.
Yep, that's BJ. Her clothing, her little clothing items are just perfection. So
Yeah.
lucky grandkids.
I like to sew.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what can I say?
That's why you're the go-to girl.
That's right.
Yeah.
So we hope you've enjoyed this week's table talk and that you all had a lovely Thanksgiving and have a good Christmas season. We are just loving being together for table talk.
I know. I felt like we needed a little fire behind us.
Yeah.
Stockings.
We
Or,
do, don't we?
yeah.
We could sit
Yes.
one
Hot
week in
chocolate
front
to
of our
drink.
fake fireplace.
Oh, we should.
We could put like the
Yeah.
TV there or something.
Yeah.
You know, I actually did that when I was in my one house before I just moved. I would put the TV on with the stupid fire thing going
Yeah.
and Christmas music playing, and my husband would look at me like, "Have you lost your
Oh,
mind?"
girls love that.
Why do you want
My
to
husband's like,
fire?
"I think she's lost her mind."
Yep.
I lose my mind at Christmas. So anyway, so thanks for being with us, and we will see you next week.